We've come to that time, the midterm exam. Yep, it's time. So let me just quickly run through you what you're going to be doing for this exam. You also have the review sheet that will help you, and then you need to make sure that you are online tomorrow in order to get your passages off Sakai. Now, the midterm exam consists of two sections, the closed book part and the open book part. The closed book part is given to you partly on the exam itself and is also described for you on the review sheet. The exam itself shows you the IDs from which you will pick 10. The IDs are to be completed by simply describing briefly your 10 chosen names, places, gods, heroes, whoever, briefly. Make sure that you write it up neatly, and then that will be part of your document that you will submit into your Dropbox. Then, tomorrow morning, 7:30 to 10:30, you will take a look at the passages that will be inside resources in a special folder that will appear only from 7:30 to 10:30 in the morning. These passages may be taken from anything that you've read so far, which could be Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, or Hesiod's Theogony and Works and Days. It could also be the Homeric hymns. It could be any of those. So you will get the two passages out, and then there are questions on the exam itself that you need to answer, which is simply the name of the work, the author, generally what the work is about, short plot summary, and then finally the passage. Why is the passage relevant? What does it describe? Where does it fit? Does the author do anything special, unusual with it? Does he change the plot in any way? And so on. Okay? So those will be available only tomorrow. And remember that the entire midterm exam is due in by the end of the day on Tuesday, July 12th. The open book essay is available for you. The open book essay is for you to either select a work and also select one of the methods of interpretation that you learned about in Chapter 2 of the Harris-Plotzner textbook. You can also consider the ones in Chapter 2 of the Kedden-Dowden textbook, but it's mainly the ones in the Harris-Plotzner textbook that you will most likely be focusing on. Select one of those methods of interpretation and apply it to one of the myths that you read. Then also, you have an option of describing the purpose that the author had in writing the particular work that you select to write about, and whether he had anything he wanted to persuade his audience or his readers. Now, when you're writing the essay, there are a few important things. First of all, be very certain that you are accurate with grammar, spelling, punctuation, sentence structure. Make sure words are spelled correctly. Especially watch out for homonyms like it's and its, or there, or thrown and thrown. Make sure that titles are italicized for all the works that you're going to be reading. And just in general, make sure that the composition of the work looks neat, that it seems to flow smoothly and seems well written. Because this is expected to be a formal piece of writing, please be certain not to use any contractions like don't, doesn't, isn't, aren't. Those are, in fact, out of place in this type of formal essay. So be certain that those are not included. All these little mistakes do add up and cost you points. So be sure not to do that, obviously. And then the content of the essay should be your argument. You should start off as clearly as possible stating your argument in your opening paragraph. You should then provide your evidence to back your argument, and then you should conclude. Be very certain that you supply me with direct evidence, where possible, from the text that you have read. You should, in fact, cite the work directly from the text as you read it, so that you can use it as evidence for your argument. Be sure you do this because it's important for you to be able to demonstrate to my satisfaction that you really have read these works, that you know what they're about, and that you're going to be able to analyze these works and come up with a suitable argument for them. So that's the essentials of the midterm exam. Again, closed book, IDs, and passages. That will count for 40% of your entire grade. And open book, the essay, will count for 60% of your entire midterm grade. Okay? Of course, if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me at xenophon98@uri.edu, or you can contact me here on Sakai, including through the chat room or the meeting or any other means that you have. I will do my best to correct them as fast as possible. It may take a few days after the midterms are submitted for me to do so, but I will do my best to get the grades into you. When I have the grades completed, I will submit the grades to you on your midterm exam back into your Dropbox. And let me remind you again that the most reliable way for me to get your midterm is for you to drop it in your Dropbox. So please do so and make sure that you use a format that I can read, open, such as either Word or PDF or some other very similar program, preferably Word or PDF. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me, and I wish you all the best with the midterm exam, and we'll see you on the other side of it. Now, there is one more video, however, having to do with the video that I'm having you watch as well. Obviously, make sure you give time for the midterm, but please do watch this video. I will describe it very briefly in our second video for today. Thank you, and we'll see you shortly.